this week we're going to talk about the SAMBA file server. We're not going to get too deep. We're just going to talk about it as a general idea, if you will. And we're going to talk about the installation of it. So what is SAMBA? It's a way to basically share files that originate from a Nix, machine, like whether it's Linux or Unix or whatever, Solaris or FreeBSD. So the way it'll work, that because is the reason why this has come into existence, is because the way the world has progressed is now the servers, something that was basically the intent of the entire need for networking. I'll just put an S here for servers. The servers are traditionally going to be your Nix variety of architectures or operating systems, whether it's Unix, Linux, FreeBSD, Solaris, the ones I just mentioned. But when it comes to the clients, which are going to be, surrounding the servers, whether they're thin clients or dumb terminals, or clients that, are beefy themselves, but just utilize the information as a server very, very abruptly, very, very quickly, they're going to be Windows, Windows based. So that is basically what is going on here. The Linux file servers are going to be, serving up the files to Windows clients. So SAMBA is a great way to share between Linux and Windows. As I said, SAMBA is referred to as a network file system. It can be installed on a variety of OSs, including Linux, Unix, OpenVMS, and OS2. So that goes all the way back to the mainframe days. Now, it is based on the common file sharing protocol known as CIFS, Common Internet File System, and CIFS is, in terms of nomenclature, has been replaced by the name SMB, or server message block. But the first version of SMB was called the Common Internet File System. So for that reason, SMB and CIFS can be interchangeable. But as you can see, the client sends a request to the server over port 445, and the SMB responds back to the client. Now, SMB is a network and resource sharing protocol. As you can see, any protocol will have its well-known port. In this case, it is port 445, and it uses a client-server model. So that's why I was saying that you can have one server and many clients. And it's SMB generally is also can be seen as peer-to-peer as well, simply because, hey, you can decide if you want to join this work group, as opposed to a domain controller, which is basically a database that broadcasts its availability to everyone, whereas workgroup is you decide unilaterally on your own whether or not you want to be part of it. SMB clients, such as PCs, Windows PCs, connect to SMB servers, generally Linux boxes, to access resources such as files and directories. And using client software that also supports SMB CIFS, an end user sends a series of client requests to the SAMBA server on another computer to open that PC's files, access to a shared printer, or access to other resources. So there's various versions, V1, V2, and V3. V1 is the original version, and so I'm going to say do not use the V1, whatever you do. SMB V1 has gone through a bunch of improvements over the years, but you do not want to use V1 because you are going to be vulnerable to the WannaCry. Now, a little tidbit about your professor. He was hit with the ransomware because I was working for a steel company at one point in time, and we had just sent a shipment to a company that always had issues with our shipments. And wouldn't you know that I got not 3 days after I sent out the shipment, I was expecting problems, and because we always had shipping problems with this one company, and lo and behold, we got a message from who I thought was UPS, and it showed a picture of a broken box similar to what I sent, And of course, I'm going to click it because, it was going to cost us thousands of dollars perhaps through penalties and rejection costs, and nothing happened. And I went ahead and restarted my computer, rebooted for the day, like shut it down for the day, opened it up the next morning, only to find out that I was hit with the WannaCry, the ransomware. So it demanded that, and of course, we all know that ransomware will encrypt your entire hard drive with what I believe they call elliptical encryption, and it's virtually unbreakable unless you have a few million years at your disposal, few million years, and I didn't have that. So fortunately, I had backed up everything I needed to a couple days prior to that, so I just literally zeroed out the hard drive and started from scratch. So the WannaCry virus is horrible, and it's very chatty, meaning it sends everything out in plain text and everyone else can read it. And V2 offered more improvements, and finally we have V3, which introduced end-to-end encryption. So when you can, please use V3. So best practices: do not use V1. You use SMB v3 whenever possible, and you try to use it. Right now we have, for example, SMB 3.11, and this can mitigate the man-in-the-middle attacks and such. So those are some of the best practices. SMB has various good things about it, various feature sets, including authentication. So SMB must authenticate itself to the SMB server to gain access to resources. From there, the client can access all resources not protected by share level authentication. Now, if share level authentication is active on the SMB share, clients must input another password to gain access. Secure data transfer. Message signing and encryption ensures the integrity and privacy of SMB data transferred across networks. So one of the reasons why SMB3 is so vital is because it offers the most benefits in the area of integrity and privacy, including modern encryption algorithms. And then we have performance. To enable usability, SMB offers a variety of performance enhancing features, even to go as far as using SMB Direct and Remote Directory memory access. And then we have reliability. So, for example, when you have high availability environments, it uses transparent failover and scale out file servers. Now, installation steps are basically simple. We update your system with sudo apt update, and then, not surprising, we can install Samba with sudo apt install Samba common bin, and here is our configuration file. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to configure our work group name and then configure our path. Okay, and the other thing is, whatever you do, the first thing you're going to do when you work on adjusting or I'm going to say modifying any configuration file is you're going to back it up. And one way to back it up is to copy the file in the same directory, and that makes a copy of smb.conf. And when you basically copy the same file in the same directory and then rename the file, it makes a copy. It retains this file, but also makes a copy of it. And in this case, it makes a copy of it and it changes the name samba.conf.backup. Now we're going to go through the configuration steps in this next video.